coverage of the NBA on Monday night. Thank you for joining us here on 2K Sports. With Brent Barry and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan, and David Aldridge will be joining us on the sideline as well. And for the Heat, we've got another hometown game here in Miami. And this matchup with the Hawks, it's their first meeting of the season. The previous season series split right down the middle. These teams were quite evenly matched. And before the action gets going here, let's go to David Aldridge, who spoke with Erik Spoelstra. What's the news, David?
Thanks, Kevin. Well, it's the first meeting of the year between these teams, so he told me today is mainly a feeling out process, trying to identify strengths and weaknesses. We'll see how quickly they get a feel for this opponent. Kevin?
Thanks, David. And an exciting start to the year, but a long way to go. If you're a veteran player, how do you pace yourself?
Well, you asked the coach if you could have a night off here and there. We've seen, obviously, the league going to this, Kevin, making sure that physically the players have the most that they can have come postseason and not get overextended during the regular season. And then if you know the game well enough, Kevin, there's certainly ways throughout the course of a ball game to know when it is you can exert yourself and then pull back a little bit. And that doesn't mean that the guy's not playing hard or competing. It just means that there's a little bit of smartness with regards to how he's approaching each and every contest.
A look at Atlanta's opening lineup. Filling out the wings, it's Bazemore and Prince. Ilyasova out there with Dwayne Dedmon, and it's Schroeder in at the point guard. Now here's Dragic. Against Indiana, he was really on his game. And Waiters kicks to Whiteside. Screen by Olynyk. Whiteside, the pass to Richardson. Off target from outside. On defense, the Heat, they defeated Indiana in their last game.
And I know the defense wasn't great, but yet and still, their ability to stay composed was impressive.
Well, it led to a big scoring effort, taking advantage of every weakness. So any possession the defense wasn't aggressive on, they were on the offensive end.
And, oh, here we go. Prince has got it. The fast break chance. Bazemore gets the bucket.
And the three-point shot is something Bazemore has improved steadily over his career. You can't give him room like that to fire.
Dragic kicks to Olynyk. There's a good screen. The feed to Waiters. It's stolen by Schroeder. Oh, and a fast break for Atlanta. 2 points. That one goes.
Easy to see just how quick Schroeder is on both offense and defense, swiping that one and leading to 2.
And that replay presented by Under Armour, showing us the fantastic steal that led to that fast break finish. Another unleashed chaos moment. Now here's Waiters. He's another guy who had a stellar performance in that win against Indiana. Can they get it? Drained for 2 points.
That has to be a relief. First bucket was a long time coming.
And you could see it in the faces of some of the players, just really anxious and amped up for this one. Let's see if this puts them on the right path.
Prince against Richardson. The drive by Schroeder. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. Schroeder's got 6.
Now their offense is rolling. A perfect start. 4 of 4 so far.
Screen by Olynyk. And Waiters kicks to Dragic. Shot clock at 6. The shot comes out. For Atlanta, they've gone 4 of 4 to start. So a nice offensive rhythm to start here. And they're running. Here's Richardson. And it's good off the back rim and in.
Love the fast hands of Richardson there. Always active on the defensive end, using his length and constantly prowling for steals.
Ilyasova hits the bucket.
Oh, great ball movement there.
For Atlanta, they come in off the loss to the Brooklyn Nets.
And that was a game where you just sensed that they would get it going and somehow be able to come out with the victory, but just not in the cards on that night.
No, in the end, not even close to being in the cards. Maybe there was some hope for them early on, but by the fourth quarter, people filed out.
The 11-footer, no good that time. And it's the Hawks taking it the other way. He lobs it up. And the lead now, double digits on that bucket.
Aggressive coming out of the gate here, guys. Wow.
And already the lead is significant. Excellent play on both ends.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to shoot their way out of the slump, and that didn't work. They got to go back and regroup.
Well, no matter how hard it's been, you want to stay positive, stay focused, and maybe a couple shots will get you right back in it.
Some numbers on Bazemore, how he performed last season. Last season, he averaged 11 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. And guys, no question, he's a guy with some talent, but honestly, even he'd like to see those numbers improve.
From all the whispers that we've heard, he's been working hard on his game. It just has not showed up yet in the box score.
And Coach Mike Budenholzer, a product of the San Antonio coaching tree, learned a lot in his decade plus as a lead assistant under Greg Popovich.
I think one key for Mike Budenholzer is that he understands that the importance of the assistant coaching staff can really elevate the level of play for the basketball team, and that each of those coaches has an open door policy. You can walk in, you can have a conversation, you can gripe a little bit, and then try to build on something so that the team ends up better off because of those open lines of communication.
Now here's Dragic after the miss from Dennis Schroeder and the jam by Whiteside.
Now, some guys have a hard time finding their teammates in those possessions. Dragic is always looking to dish to get it to the open man.
There's the screen. Schroeder kicks to Prince. Ilyasova, screen on Richardson. Just 5 on the clock. He used that pick to perfection. Prince has got his second bucket of the night.
Ilyasova does not do many things outside of an offensive set. He sets the hard screen there to free up his guy.
Now here's Richardson. He picked up 12 points in their last win against Indiana.
Well, I think he was especially impressive on the glass. The defense had no idea what to do with him.
Bazemore with it, now guarded by Dragic. 13 feet away. He's off on that one.
The defense cannot afford to be that lazy. You got to be up on the shooters at all times, especially at the mid-range.
And this quarter, he has clearly been off the mark.
Prince against Richardson. Prince kicks it over to Schroeder. To the wing right side. For the 3. Ilyasova can't hit. The Heat trail by 7. Over to the left wing. Miami no good on that time either.
Man, he's missing those kind of good looks. His team is in some serious trouble.
And Bazemore kicks to Dedmon. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Dedmon likes to play physical. He brings it to the game every night.
And last season, the Heat showed that they can score and attack you from many different sources.
Well, the Heat have a team where one player can step up for them on any given night, and they improve their outside shooting so much. So many guys had a tremendous year from behind the three-point line. They opened up the floor a bit. So with Dragic running the point and using his speed, they had some other gunners out there who got into a great rhythm, and certainly that winning streak helped their confidence.
No good on that one.
Well, from the D-League to dominating defensively, Dwayne Dedmon hustling around.
Muscala, he's checked in for Ilyasova. And he's good on the second.
Slight change in the Hawks in terms of the front office responsibilities, as Coach Mike Budenholzer had been running the show, but he relinquished those responsibilities as Travis Schlenk came from the Golden State Warriors to head up the general manager's position.
Now here's Olynyk. He's coming off a 13-point game against Indiana.
Well, I think he was especially impressive on the glass. The defense had no idea what to do with him.
Atlanta leading by 6. And Brent, do you like the move for the Hawks, bringing in a new head of basketball operations?
Well, I think Mike Budenholzer, you could see in his reaction to them hiring a new general manager that he was just fine with that. He's a coach. That's all he wants to do is coach. Now he's going to have a chance to coach.
Really, the right play defensively. If you can't block, force them to the line.
The Hawks shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game.
Definitely an area where they can improve. Only 73% as a team from the line last year.
Shooting 2.
That's good from Schroeder. Always a fun topic. If you could start a franchise with one guy, who would that be? And a big part of that debate, proven veteran versus young guy with massive upside.
How long's my contract as general manager, Kevin?
Let's say it's a 4-year deal right now.
Okay, I'm going to take the young guy with massive upside.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because if that pans out, my job's going to be 8 years with an extension, and you're hired.
Good, and guaranteed money.
And I'll find the veterans, Kevin, this is an honest point, that want to play with somebody like that. A young player that's drawing that much attention is going to make their jobs easier, and they're probably specialists in what they do, having been in the league that long. So the upside, I'll go with that.
4 on the shot clock. Here's Johnson. It's rebounded by Schroeder. The Hawks leading by 8. It's Prince on the wing. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. Well, Eric Spoelstra known for being a player's coach, but he also isn't afraid to dish out some tough love. With this team in a rebuilding phase, he's had to do that a lot.
Well, I think what he's trying to do is just get the most out of every player on the team, and he lets them know, I'm going to put you in positions, guys, to maximize your potential. Sometimes that can come from tough love, but most of the time it's because they want greatness. That's what the Miami Heat organization is all about.
Roof shots.
And he makes the first.
You watch the Heat play, you watch their young athletes, and you think about the conditioning of all of their players. Allegedly, they have one of the toughest practice regimens in the league. I don't think guys get too fired up about their training camps, but certainly pays off throughout the course of the season.
Here's what Miami's going with right now. Adebayo is checked in for Whiteside. Ellington comes in for Dion Waiters. And it's Johnson in for Goran Dragic. And for the Heat, Brent, as bad as the workouts might be, the payoff is there.
Yeah, it's always amazing how many former Heat players talk about going down there and getting ground down. And if you're getting ground down in just a workout, what the heck are the practices like? So this is not a franchise or a team that's for everybody in the league, but that's what the Heat do. They sift through those kind of guys and then find out what Miami Heat players are out there and available, and then they bring those guys in.
And already with the commanding lead, a terrific offensive performance.
And if you check out the strategy, you can see already the plays that they're calling. Feels like they found a weakness or two in the defense.
And the Heat call time here. As the teams head into this timeout, a chance for the coaches now to map out some plays for the next few minutes and a chance for the players to rehydrate with some Gatorade. That's important if they want to make sure they don't wear down later in the game.
Absolutely. Over the course of a game, you have to stay hydrated. On the wing, Ellington.
Johnson outside. Now here's Ellington. Bellinelli is covering. Clock at 6. The Heat need to get a shot off. Here's Adebayo. A three-pointer, no good.
Just doing the job on the backboard.
Prince in the corner. They set the pick. And no good. And Miami the other way now. There's Winslow. Shot goes down. Very quick possession right there.
Winslow's jumper coming along, a great sign for the organization to see his improvement.
Delaney, the pass to Prince. It's picked off. Now here's Ellington. Tight defense on him. Johnson, good.
And they've scored several times already here in the first quarter on the inside.
Delaney kicks to Muscala. Delaney, the pass to Muscala. Back to Delaney. Pass to Muscala. The Hawks working the ball around. Just 5 to shoot. Here's Bellinelli. Ellington grabs the miss.
I know it's physically impossible, but he's got to be kicking himself. He knows he's got to make those.
There's the dish to Johnson. No good that time, so the Hawks will take it the other way. Delaney kicks to Prince. He feeds it to Muscala. Collins passes to Delaney. Prince outside. From the line. And that one comes up a bit short.
And you know what? You can't get a better screen. Frees him up beautifully, but he just fails to capitalize.
Oh, man, he'd love to have that one back. He just does everything right, but doesn't get the finish.
Here's Adebayo. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. There's Winslow. Great use of the pick to create room for the jumper.
Well, even with some suffocating defense, Winslow still finding room to breathe.
Delaney kicks to Collins. Back to Prince. Puts up a three. Another miss by Prince.
Well, you know, they're in the lead, but he's still been frustrated from an offensive standpoint.
Pass to Adebayo. Now here's Ellington. Bellinelli is covering. Johnson outside. Johnson outside. From deep three-point range. Johnson missing again. Atlanta leading by 4. Prince outside. Tries to snap the cold streak, and that's good for 2. Prince has got 7 points. Miami's gone just 1 of 4 from three-point range here in the first.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Johnson with a screen on Prince. Here's Adebayo. He's covered by Muscala. There's a screen. Three-pointer Ellington. Offensive rebound. Johnson. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Clearly a foul.
James Johnson, the journeyman forward, the kind of player that can eat up minutes at either forward position, Brent, and just do whatever he has to do to contribute to the team on offense.
Again, one of the guys who last year benefited from an incredible run from the teammates around him, and his skills were on full display. At his size, puts the ball down, shoots the 3, goes in and will dunk on somebody. Played with incredible aggressive mindset last year and became a candidate for one of the league's most improved players.
That's good from Johnson. And both free throws good for Johnson. And Brent, for the Hawks, you go back to the summer of 2016. How big was it for them losing their all-star, Al Horford?
Well, the rumor is there wasn't too much of a financial difference between what the Hawks were offering and what the Celtics ended up giving Al Horford, and they wanted to have him back and maybe trade Paul Millsap for assets. That all did not happen, and it gutted the team a little bit because of Horford's versatility. You could see that reflected in some of the offensive numbers from the Hawks last year.
Wow, he doesn't make plays like that very often. That's a nice move inside. Yeah, still moving a little bit when he set that screen. He'll argue that he was set, but I really didn't think so.
No, that's a good call. Just keep arguing with the officials because they change that call all the time. Not.
Bellinelli. And so it's Atlanta with a 6-point lead at the end of the quarter. They're feeling very confident, shooting the ball with great efficiency and dictating the pace. Back to the action after this word. And forward James Johnson battled his way back into the league after some stints abroad. He talked about his approach to the game.
I play the game how it's supposed to be played. I play offense, I play defense, I rebound, steals, blocks. You know, I'm pretty much that guy who likes to work hard and don't want anybody to beat him out, you know, except the challenge.
That's exactly the kind of hard-nosed, old-school attitude that coaches just love.
Kevin, and so do his teammates. I mean, a guy like that brings out the best in everybody on that team. They just kind of feed off of his effort and desire.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And what do you guys think about the Hawks here in this one?
I mean, you saw it. That barrage of threes has them grooving here after one.
Well, they found a little bit of space out there on the perimeter, and they have a shared confidence right now. That tends to breed some success for this team.
On the court right now for the Hawks, they've got Collins. He's out there with Mike Muscala. Bellinelli is out there with Prince, and it's Delaney in at the point. Johnson outside. Some nice ball movement here by the Heat. The pass to Adebayo. Johnson kicks to Winslow. Just 4 to shoot. For the 3. Collins grabs the miss. The Hawks leading by 6. Second quarter, and we're just over a minute in. Here's Delaney. He's guarded by Johnson. And count it, and a chance for one more at the free throw line.
Oh, nice screen. Really a poor defensive reaction and the obvious result.
Yeah, when you fail to get over the top, more than likely that jumper is going to go down.
The Hawks shooting their 7th attempt at the foul line in this one. Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Ilyasova, he's checked in for Collins. And it's Kent Bazemore in for Taurean Prince.
One shot.
And Brent, 14 years in the NBA, you spent about half your time on the defensive end. Of all the guys you were matched up against, who was surprisingly difficult to cover?
It's funny, Kevin, because a lot of coaches would tell you I did not spend half of my time on the defensive end. Well,
I know better. I know better.
Surprisingly difficult to stop, I would tell you, it would be Mitch Richmond. Many years in Sacramento playing for the Kings. He was known as the Rock, and I can tell you why. Running into him and his physicality as a two-guard was very, very difficult to stop. One of the game's greatest two-guards.
Sturdy, wasn't he? He was thick. He was hard to move is what I think about.
He was very thick and physical, which was something that I was certainly not. And they also ran a myriad of screens for him on every possession. The most potent offensive player they had was Mitch Richmond, and they would get him open every time. So a very difficult cover for me.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, guys, Miami's Eric Spoelstra is known for his focus and his devotion to work. How does he stay centered? Yoga. He said, "I like it because you have to keep your eyes on your own mat. If you're not focused on the spot in front of you, you'll fall over." And Kevin, that mindfulness translates across the board.
Mindfulness. That's an interesting way to look at things, D.A. Spo is a great communicator. Knows how to certainly get through to his team. That's good from Johnson. And Brent, for the Hawks, a new $50 million practice facility. In 2019, their G League team begins playing in College Park.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome that we're almost to every team having a G League affiliated roster that they can work with throughout the course of the season. So the Hawks became the 16th team to snatch up a G League operation. And I think that Mike Budenholzer and their organization will use that well, as they'll want player development coming out of College Park.
Here's Dragic following the three by Atlanta. Waiters outside. He kicks it to Johnson. Whiteside, a screen on Ilyasova. Johnson dishes to Whiteside. That's good, and it's Johnson with the assist. Whiteside's got his second bucket of the night.
Wonderful use of the pick and roll, especially by Whiteside, slashing right to the bucket and getting that one to go.
Ilyasova, a screen. Here's Bazemore. Tried to bank it in, but he misses.
And he rushed that one, no doubt about it. The D. Allen's position, you could see the frustration on his face.
Count it, and the Atlanta lead has been cut down now to just 2 points with that basket from Richardson.
Richardson not easy to contain, and he's used to scoring on aggressive defense.
Atlanta with the ball, following the score by Miami, and stolen by Richardson. Here's Dragic. And they're unable to get the tying basket there. For Atlanta, they've gone 2 of 5 from the field here in the second quarter, shooting 40%. Schroeder kicks it to Bazemore. No good with the triple. For Miami, they've gone 4 of 6 from the field here in the second. It's Richardson on the wing. Wants to get it back to Whiteside and does. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. Well, with Whiteside, no matter what he is doing, he is always setting the tone. The way he goes about defending the rim, it's like he's taking it personally that these guys are not going to score on him.
And you know what? He's a tone setter defensively. He gives his group confidence when he's on the floor. And, you know, teams are starting to realize you simply do not go at Whiteside. The block numbers might be down, but his defensive impact is as high as ever.
And the first one at the line is good.
Nice stroke from the line by Whiteside. You know, he's only going to get better from there with some practice.
Olynyk, he's checked in for Johnson. And a switch here also for Atlanta. Dedmon's checked in. And it's tied up with that one.
There are very few people in the league that put the type of fear in a shooter, especially when they draw close to the rim. Like Hassan Whiteside, gets to so many shots with his height, uses both arms to block shots, and he changes countless attempts around the rim.
And it's Miami's ball. They're on a 12-3 run right now. Screen by Olynyk. They set the pick. Dragic kicks to Waiters. Some nice ball movement here by the Heat. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Off the pick. Dragic gets the bucket. And the Heat lead by 2. And with Whiteside, certainly one of the preeminent shot blockers in the NBA, Brent does so without selling out for shots, too.
You think about a great shot blocker and maybe a guy that he's talked to a lot in Alonzo Mourning. Whiteside does a good job of staying down and waiting until the offensive player gets off his feet or releases the ball so that he can get up there and swat it away.
The Heat have gone 5 of 7 from the field here in the second. Richardson the pass to Whiteside. Olynyk a screen on Schroeder. It's Dragic with the drive, and the layup's good off the glass. And it's a 4-point Heat lead.
Well, when you have an outstanding point guard that's making outstanding decisions like Dragic does, it can be lethal.
And Bazemore kicks it over to Schroeder. That doesn't go either for Schroeder. And here are the Heat now. They're on a 16-3 run. Waiters for 3. That's in, coming off an assist from Dragic. 6 points for Dion Waiters.
Bringing that three-point percentage up quite a bit this quarter, shooting it well. The lead's going to get a little bit bigger if they can keep this up.
And Atlanta calls their first time out of the game. Watching the way Dragic can slice through a defense, it's easy to see why he is one of the better playmakers in the league.
Well, Kevin, over the past 2 seasons, almost averaging 6 assists a ball game. And you think about who it is that he's been surrounded by, there's not a ton of shooting out there. So if the roster picks up a couple of other dead-eye shooters, those assist numbers are going to go up for Dragic.
And they've let things get out of hand. Good time to reconvene.
They're just on the wrong end right now of a big run, and they need to plan how they're going to shift the momentum of the game.
And to look now at the 4 areas where shots can come from. The paint, mid-range, and shots from deep, all broken down for the Heat.
And they've pretty much ignored the corner 3 tonight. It's a useful shot to have. It really forces the D out wide and opens things up in the middle.
Here's Schroeder. 17 points for him last game against Brooklyn.
And guys, the other thing that he did well was just facilitate the offense, pass the ball around beautifully in that one. Seriously, put on a passing clinic.
Now here's Bazemore. They trail by 7, and he comes up with the deuce.
Well, Bazemore seems to be locked in, even when there's an aggressive defense around him, not getting rattled.
There's a good screen. Waiters dishes to Whiteside. And count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
They've settled into a nice groove offensively here in the second.
For Miami, they have been on target from the free throw line. They're 5 of 5 in that department. Free throw, good, Whiteside. We've heard the rumors, Brent, the death of the big man, but with guys like Towns and Porzingis and others entering the league that can play on the perimeter and still have that length to make a difference inside, could we see a big man renaissance, or at least maybe see him have more of an impact than people are giving him credit for right now?
Well, I think what we're seeing is the evolution of the 5 spot, Kevin. So it's not that the big man is lost. It's that the big man's doing a lot of the things that the little man used to be asked to do, and that is shooting threes, handle the ball, make some decisions at the top of the key, be a playmaker. It's fascinating to watch guys with this sort of size and this sort of skill, and also being this young, having such a tremendous impact for the organizations they're playing for.
Here's Schroeder. Hassan Whiteside made his last basket. Back to Schroeder. The Hawks working the ball around. Ilyasova, screen on Waiters. Clock at 4. This one for 3. Shot is good, and the Heat's lead is cut down now to just 7 on the basket from Ilyasova.
Even before the ball gets to him, you can see Ilyasova start to position himself, gets his feet set, a good foundation to let it fly.
Now here's Dragic. He's got 6. Here's Whiteside. Oh, yes, he did. 5 up and 5 down for him so far.
A much better quarter for them shooting the ball.
Edmond passes to Bazemore. He dishes it to Schroeder. In the corner, it's Bellinelli. Misses the 3.
I've not seen him shoot this poorly, guys, in a game this season.
And Waiters kicks to Dragic. Schroeder against Waiters. Dishes to Olynyk. And it's Miami with another.
And a terrific percentage here in the first half. You got to love their rhythm and the flow with which they're playing.
I also like the adjustments that they've made. Each time they're defended a little bit differently, they seem to have the answer for it.
Here's Schroeder after the Heat pick up 2. Ilyasova a screen. Bellinelli dishes to Ilyasova. No coverage that time. Ilyasova's got 5 points in the quarter. Dragic the pass to Whiteside. And that's good. And it's Dragic with the assist. Dragic has got 3 assists in the game. Atlanta calls timeout. Brent, you played briefly with the Heat. What was it like coming to this team mid-season and getting to play with a player who is revered by Miami fans in Alonzo Mourning?
Well, the thing that I always thought about with Alonzo Mourning was the intensity with which he played with, and to watch his approach both in practice and in his preparation to get ready for big-time basketball was the most impressive part of having an opportunity to suit up with a Hall of Famer in Alonzo Mourning.
And I like this timeout. You're getting terrible rim protection right now.
Well, you got to ask your team to give you a little bit more effort because there's just not a lot of fire on the defensive end.
A different look for Miami. Winslow's checked in for Richardson. Ellington comes in for Waiters. And it's Johnson in for Goran Dragic. Atlanta also making some changes here. Collins checked in for Ilyasova. Taurean Prince comes in for Marco Bellinelli. And it's Malcolm Delaney in for Kent Bazemore.
And he just leaves the D in the dust and explodes to the basket.
You're right. Maybe a momentum changer right there, huh?
If anything could change the momentum, it's that kind of play. Cloud of smoke has people standing on their feet. Well, Tyler Johnson and his path to the NBA are quite unique. Undrafted out of college, where he played at Fresno State, comes up through the D-League, now the G-League, and plays a critical role for this Miami Heat basketball team as a force off the bench.
First free throw is good. For Tyler Johnson, the journey was a quick one. In the span of about 2 years, he goes from the D-League, where he played, to signing a $50 million contract.
Well, I also think about, Kevin, the fact that he played in just 68 games before last season. So a ton of belief from the organization that Tyler Johnson can be that guy, capable of coming off the bench, scoring baskets, and coming right down the throat of the defense to get to the rim.
And, you know, doesn't matter where you line him up. Tyler Johnson has become a playmaker. You know, had to work his way into the NBA, but he has quickly established himself. Great threat off the bench, who brings instant scoring and can be a catalyst for your offense.
Now here's Prince, and it's denied. In transition, here comes Miami. Johnson's got the ball. Good on the shot.
You know, he didn't score the ball much in the first quarter, but he has been really, really solid during the second quarter. I expect a big game from him now.
And Greg, with Johnson, it's that burst he plays with on the floor that makes him such an energizer.
Yeah, and for a player who isn't the biggest guard, you know, he attacks with reckless abandon. Great speed of play in the half court as well as transition. And he's really slippery and can step in if you overcommit.
Free throw no good for Johnson.
Well, it's interesting to watch him because he's putting his body on the line to get to the line. We didn't see this during the first quarter, but he's making up for it here.
And it's Schroeder missing.
Yeah, his shot just doesn't seem to be synced up right now. Here's hoping he finds it soon because his team is really going to need that production tonight.
Now here's Winslow. This is the most they've led by, 13 points. Passes to Ellington. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. Atlanta's shooting at a decent 44% clip here. Schroeder against Johnson. Schroeder kicks to Delaney. Atlanta again missing. Miami leading by 13. It's stolen by Schroeder. The numbers in their favor. Goes up, and he caps off the fast break with a monster slam.
Well, once you get the ball to Dennis Schroeder in the open floor, it's usually game over for the opposition, like what I saw there.
Ellington kicks to Johnson. Pass to Adebayo. Deflects the pass, and the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Schroeder.
Playing with lots of energy here, trying to cause turnover.
Yeah, even though he doesn't come up with the steal, that kind of deflection will disrupt the rhythm of this offensive possession.
James Johnson's checked in for Miami. Muscala, he's checked in for Atlanta. 4 on the clock. The 3 from Johnson. Not going to go that time. And it's the Hawks taking it the other way. They get to take on the Bulls at Chicago after this one. And that's the final game of this 5-game road run for the team. Shot by Collins, no good. Miami's gone 2 for 5 from three-point land since the end of the first. Ellington kicks to Johnson. Some nice ball movement here by the Heat. On the wing, Winslow. There's the pick to the inside. It's stolen by Schroeder. Pass break here. Here come the Hawks. Here's Delaney. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Yeah, easy call.
And this will be his second and third shots at the line here.
And converted more than 4 out of every 5 free throw attempts last year. So just solid at the line.
Two shots.
The first one falls. That one misses, so he goes 1 for 2. Out of bounds, Hawks ball as Atlanta keeps possession. Schroeder against Johnson. Schroeder outside. Prince outside. Just 3 on the clock. He can't get it to go. It's been all about Hassan Whiteside for Miami. Scoring, rebounding. He was all over the place during that quarter. They are riding his performance right now. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. James, you came out and you were really productive. In fact, the whole bench was productive.
Yeah, of course, you know, that's what the second unit's for. We go hard in practice. We know we can play with the best of them, and we just want to give our first guys the first group a lift.
You certainly did, James. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, David. And we'll be back shortly following halftime to get the third quarter underway.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime
Hey again,
Show.
y'all. Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny the Jet. Welcome to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. A tremendous game we're seeing from Hassan Whiteside. He ended up with 15 points, 2 assists, and 1 block. He has bounced back nicely from what was a tough night for him in their last game. Judging by that first half, he's back to his old self again. Let's hear from you, Shaq, on the Heat first half.
Well, Hassan Whiteside has made his mark on the game. He's an old school big man, but he earns his keep inside. Decides to control the game in the paint.
And now, Kenny, let's get your opinion on Atlanta.
Well, one problem I see is that they're too timid on the boards. When you start to fall behind in the game, you need to become more aggressive on the offensive glass and the defensive glass.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
Welcome back. American Airlines Arena visible on the far right of your screen in that overhead shot of downtown Miami. All right, the second half beginning in just a moment. You look at Hassan Whiteside in this game. Guys, he's everywhere.
And through the first 2 quarters, they went to him repeatedly in the post, and boy, did he deliver.
Yeah, I like his patience down there. He's combined some good footwork with even better moves surrounding that. So we'll see if the defense can counter in the second half. Maybe some double teams.
And the third quarter about ready to get underway. The Heat leading by 10. Dragic and Waiters, they're the backcourt. Olynyk down low with Whiteside. And it's Richardson in at the small forward. That's the group on the floor for Miami. Dragic dishes to Richardson. Waiters passes to Dragic. Just 5 to shoot. Olynyk sets a screen for Dragic. A picture-perfect screen play, and the jumper's good. Dragic has got the first bucket of the third here for the Heat. Schroeder kicks to Dedmon. Schroeder against Dragic. Not enough on that one as it misses.
Just a solid performance on the interior. The rebounding has been off the charts.
Dragic a screen on Schroeder. Waiters dishes to Whiteside. Out to the right wing. Olynyk has the open look. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Olynyk's got 5 points so far.
And a cued in Hassan Whiteside on that play. Great at playing within the offense and then spotting the open man.
Ilyasova, a screen on Richardson. Another miss by Prince. The Heat leading by 15.
Gone from the Hawks are all the starters of that team that just a couple years ago won 60 games. So you have to believe if this is the time for that organization to embrace a rebuild.
Now here's Olynyk off target with his three. Just over a minute and a half have passed here in the third quarter. They set the pick. Richardson against Prince. It's stolen by Dragic. Here's Richardson. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. And the Hawks last season, a 5th seed, Brent, in the Eastern Conference, ousted in the first round.
Well, they have some aging veterans. They had some regressions in the wins column. They traded away a lot of the guys that were part of that 60-win team. So this is a young team that's starting to reset, rebuild, and retool.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And he makes the first.
Tough for Josh Richardson last year to get some consistent play due to injuries that just sort of took him off track, but it definitely slowed up what was looking like a very encouraging sophomore season. It still has a bright future ahead of him.
And despite the injury-riddled season last year, you can see what Richardson provides to a team when he is healthy and Brent when he's ready to go. Solid wing play.
Well, they love Richardson coming out of college as a guy who could play flat-out defense on the wing, and then all of a sudden he stepped up in some big moments 2 years ago and started draining three-point shots. So they feel like they've got a perimeter player in Richardson that's going to make that kind of progression and have that kind of consistency for them in the next few years.
And so it's Atlanta with it. The Hawks trail by 17. Schroeder kicks to Ilyasova. Ilyasova, a screen on Richardson. Feeds it to Ilyasova. There's the screen. There's the dish to Bazemore. 6 to shoot. Over Waiters. And once again off the mark by Atlanta.
They look frustrated. 0 for 3. Not how you want to start the third quarter.
Richardson against Prince. Inside. A reverse. And count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better start to the second half, minus that one miss. 3 of 4 now from the field right now in the second half. You wonder if all the injuries last year allowed Goran Dragic the opportunity to return to some of his early form that we saw in Phoenix. Open court style of play, playing with speed and pace and some room to create. What a recovery year it was for him.
One shot.
And last season, Dragic did step up to a larger role for his offense. Brenny took more shots and played more minutes.
Well, I think stylistically, because Dwayne Wade wasn't with the Miami Heat, and what it was that happened with that incredible run they had, the floor was open, the space was available, and Dragic ended up becoming a much more effective offensive weapon.
Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over.
Yeah, you know, some of it's shot selection, some just bad luck, and they just can't get anything going.
Well, coming out of the timeout, let's see if they go for the outside shot or if they look to go inside, try to build some confidence by seeing that ball go in.
Let's take a look at the players who were the best on the glass a season ago. Hassan Whiteside on top.
And, you know, he took a lot of pride in being at the top of that rebounding list. When all was said and done, he was a man among boys.
3 minutes gone now in the third quarter. It's stolen by Dragic. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact.
Well, when it comes to free throws, Dragic is just money from the line.
He's getting his first free throw attempt of the night right now.
And 79% from the line a season ago. Pretty consistent there as a free throw shooter.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
The first free throw is good. And so he hits both. The Hawks have gone 0-3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second half. And Ilyasova kicks it to Bazemore. Dragic against Ilyasova. They set the pick. And here's Prince outside. It's hauled in by Richardson.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Kicks to Dragic. Back to Richardson. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Here's a look at some stats for Whiteside. Last season, he played outstanding. Averaged 17 points a game, 14 rebounds, and just over 2 blocks. And his defensive presence inside, not to be overlooked. He builds a wall around the basket.
Yeah, over this whole last stretch of games, he's been shutting down the lane with total authority. Impressive stuff.
He's off on the first. Hey, Brent, we've seen Hall of Fame players become coaches, but often it seems like the smart role player, they sustain more success in that role of head coach. Why is that?
I think, Kevin, a lot of times the role player is a conduit between both ends of the spectrum of your team. He can communicate with the star player. He can also talk to the guy who's the 12th man on the bench and make sure that both of them are getting what it is that they need to be in the best position to succeed. That's why you see a lot of players in that middle ground who do a great job of becoming NBA coaches as they understand the role of each.
And the work ethic, too, because for role players, maybe it hasn't come as easy. Whereas for a superstar, it was too easy.
That's true, Kevin. And how much work do you have to do with the most talented player on your team? It's pretty specific what his role is going to be. I think a role player who ends up being a coach understands the work dynamic of the rest of the team surrounding that player to create a great positive environment around your star.
2 shots. Relax on the first.
First free throw is good. And Dennis Schroeder out of Germany handed the keys as the full-time starter at the point guard in his 4th season.
And with his confidence and competitive spirit, you know, he was chomping at the bit for that opportunity. And you got to love his athleticism coupled with that big play capability. It's just exciting to see how good this young man can become.
He doesn't get the second one. And here are the Heat. They're on a 12-1 run.
Well, he is an offensive threat, and Waiters can draw a ton of shooting fouls when he's aggressive.
Brett, last season you can think of several huge plays and big shots for Dion Waiters. He had a handful of game winners for his team, and one thing Waiters has is the confidence to take that last shot with the game on the line.
Well, I remember the quote from Waiters where he said, "I'd rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9, because if you go 0 for 9, that means you stop shooting." I guarantee you any coach he plays for would have him stop at 0 for 9. But the confidence is there always for Dion Waiters.
First one falls for him.
Still struggling to find some consistency as an offensive player, but Waiters does get to the free throw line a fair amount for a guy who shoots so many threes.
Yeah, and the Hawks making a change here. Muscala's checked in. And both free throws good for Waiters. For Atlanta, they've gone 0 of 4 from the field in the second half, yet to find the mark. Schroeder passes to Muscala. Ilyasova is screen on Whiteside. Here's Bellinelli, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. It's his first trip to the line.
Second team at the line for the Hawks, Marco Bellinelli at the line for 2.
Shooting 2, gentlemen.
And that one misses. Good on the second free throw. Now Dragic, 10 points for him. Now the feed to Whiteside. Back to Dragic.
I mean, I like the call. I thought the defense was just there a little late.
Side out.
He'll take his 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the game right here.
2.
Two shots.
First one falls for him. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Guys, nothing has really come easy for him today.
Yeah, definitely not their best basketball.
Schroeder dishes to Muscala. Schroeder against Dragic. Bazemore for three. Atlanta again missing.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
Right side a screen. Here's Dragic. The second effort. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot two right here.
And that's what you want to do with Whiteside, feeding him the ball in the paint where he makes the defense collapse.
So far, he's hit all of his shots at the foul line, going 4 for 4.
And you know, you'll take what he can give you from the free throw line. Looking at his numbers, just really not one of his strengths, shooting in the low 60s last season.
Free throw, good, Whiteside. So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. Atlanta's gone 0 of 2 from deep to start things here in the second half. In the corner, Bazemore with it. There's the pick. He feeds it to Muscala. Clock at 4. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
There he is, the product out of Kelford, North Carolina. Kent Bazemore has come a very long way during his short time in the NBA. Speaking of Kelford, that's got to be one of those places where everybody knows who you are, and Bazemore has that easygoing vibe when you get a chance to meet him.
The first one falls. And hard scrabble beginnings for Bazemore. Winners without heat. His mom worked 3 jobs to support the family. But what a success story for Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, an incredible story. You can see the work ethic that Kent Bazemore has and how those things have paid off for him. This is a guy who went undrafted, waited for an opportunity, and then pounced on it. The thing is with Kent Bazemore now, are you the type of player who wants to spend the money that you've earned, or do you want to earn the money that you've been given?
Dragic kicks to Whiteside. Back to Dragic. Waiters outside. His 3-pointers off the mark for Atlanta. They've gone 0 of 5 to the start of the second quarter. Extremely cold shooting coming out of the locker room.
Watching Schroeder put the team on his back has been entertaining, and he's scoring at a steady clip.
Now here's Dragic. 12 points for him. Shoots over Schroeder. Dragic gets the bucket. Dragic has got 14 points.
Yeah, the onslaught continues. He's been unstoppable now for a couple of nights.
Well, a tip of the cap to the coaching staff here. They're recognizing how well he's playing, so the game plan has been built around him.
Atlanta calls timeout.
And they're committing an awful lot of fouls here, and not of the good variety. You don't want to give up easy layups, sure, but it's been a non-stop parade to the foul line.
Winslow's checked in for Olynyk. And a change for the Hawks. Delaney's checked in. Pass to Ilyasova. Here's Delaney. He's guarded by Waiters.
And how's that for some ups coming from that one?
Well, he is a rarity among NBA point guards in his ability to elevate.
Gotta love the fact that going vertical is a major part of what makes him so difficult as a point guard to defend, especially around the rim.
Dragic, the pass to Whiteside. He got right to the cup using that screen. Whiteside's got 6 here in this quarter.
And how about the performance we're seeing from him? Not one miss on the day.
The pass to Delaney. Not really his range, and it's off target. Miami leading by 23. Goes up at the stripe. Again, the Heat good for 2.
Some people feel Waiters takes too many contested jumpers, and that lowers his field goal percentage, but he nails that one.
And Bazemore kicks to Bellinelli. Drills the three-pointer.
And they've got to talk to each other on D there. Miscommunication, and now he's able to make them pay.
Dishes it to Winslow. Passes it to Whiteside. There's a good screen. Over Muscala. Bazemore grabs the miss.
Just wondering why the defense is laying off. Luckily, they didn't pay for their mistake.
Pass to Delaney. Over Dragic. Dragic with some nice D. For Miami, they've gone 6 of 10 from the field in the third quarter. They get it back. No good on that one.
It is so tough to make those kind of shots with the defense draped all over you.
Bazemore, and too long on the shot.
And the shots just continue to say no in terms of falling.
Outside Dragic. Waiters right side. Just 5 on the clock. Whiteside sets the pick for Winslow. Miami no good on that time either. Atlanta's gone 1 of 4 in three-point shots here in the third. Delaney kicks it to Bazemore. Ilyasova, screen on Waiters. Here's Bazemore, and Whiteside sends it back.
Well, those kind of shots should come with a warning label. Caution, Hassan Whiteside is around. He's simply one of the best shot blockers in the league.
Yeah, just solid work on the back end of that play.
Yep, you're right. Finished hard with 2 hands on that stuff. And Atlanta has possession. The Heat getting the bucket. Delaney kicks to Muscala. Back to Delaney. It's Muscala, top of the key. Kept alive by Atlanta. In the corner, it's Delaney. He tries for 3. Sinks the triple. Delaney's got 9.
The defense is far too slow to close out on those three-point attempts.
Right side a screen. And it's Dragic off the drive. And it's Waiters again missing. The Hawks trail by 21. Bazemore with it. He's got 10. And a miss there on the triple.
Yeah, the defense there in chill mode. We all know he can burn them from three-point range.
Now, here's Richardson. He's guarded closely. Here's Whiteside. No good off the front iron.
Yeah, bad shot there. Trust is lacking. You got to be willing to make the extra pass.
Yep, just too anxious to try and make something happen out there. This is about the team, not about you.
Muscala misses. The Heat leading by 21. 1:37 left here in the third quarter. Winslow dishes to Dragic. And he's fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming up.
And he's starting to show that killer instinct this quarter, looking to extend the lead.
This is his 3rd trip to the free throw line in the game. A different look for Miami. Adebayo is checked in for Whiteside. Johnson comes in for Richardson. And Ellington is subbed in for Dion Waiters. Collins checked in for the Hawks. Taurean Prince comes in for Marco Bellinelli.
One shot.
That one misses for Dragic.
Yeah, sometimes in a game you settle a little bit before settling in, and right now I think he's a big factor in how they're getting to the line.
Prince, the pass to Muscala. Boom, he jams it straight down.
Yeah, a nice, strong finish on the inside.
But Greg, that's what he does. He's got the dunker mentality. Dragic kicks to Johnson. 54 seconds left in the third quarter. Feeds to Winslow. Now the dish to Ellington. From deep three-point range, Atlanta with the rebound. Now here's Bazemore. He's got 10. And Muscala kicks to Delaney. Down low and taken away by Johnson. And here we go. Fast break. Ellington's got the ball. Here's Adebayo. And the whistle blows, so a chance here for a three-point play.
And this is what happens when you fail to block out.
Defensive rebounding just as important as causing the miss in the first place.
And he's got his first chance at the line here. The Heat making a switch here. Johnson's checked in. And the Hawks making a change here as well. Dwayne Dedmon's checked in for Mike Muscala.
One shot.
Atlanta's gone a less than productive 2 of 6 from three-point land in the second half. Here's Delaney. He's guarded by Johnson. There's a good screen. Delaney, the pass to Prince. 2 on the clock. Offline. And so it's Miami, finishing the quarter up by a whopping 24 points. The scoring has been tremendous, and they are shooting lights out with very high accuracy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Head coach Erik Spoelstra mic'd up along the sideline. Let's check it out.
I like the activity, guys. Active hands, active feet. They do not like it when we take it off the glass.
And obviously the approach Erik Spoelstra wants to see is that aggressive defensive approach and going after the offensive boards.
Yeah, and that persistence really pays off. When these guys are determined, that's when they are at their best.
And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. On the court right now for the Hawks. Filling out the wings, it's Bazemore and Prince. Dwayne Dedmon is out there with Collins, and it's Delaney in at the 1. Here's Johnson, following the bucket by the Hawks. And Olynyk kicks to Johnson. Hey, Brent, when you look at the All-Star balloting, it's amazing how many worthy point guards have to be left off the roster. How'd the league end up with so many great players at that position all at once? It's an amazing story.
It has been an incredible crop. I mean, really the golden era of point guards. And the one guy who I feel really badly for over the course certainly of the last 5 or 6 seasons is one Mike Conley. Any coach in the league would take Mike Conley at the drop of a hat, yet he's dealing with, over the course of his career, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Tony Parker, Steve Nash, Chauncey Billups, Chris Paul. Should I go on, Kevin? It is a very, very tough position.
Those names, it says it all.
Got to give a ton of credit to the screener there. That was a perfect pick to give his teammate the space to knock down the shot.
He kicks to Ellington. He dishes it to Winslow. The feed to Olynyk. Pass to Ellington. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Takes the 3. Rebound, Atlanta.
He's been a little bit disappointing in this game. However, his team has his back. They need a little bit more help from him. Well, I love when guys still use fundamentals to box out and rebound. He cleared his man out effectively on the box and then stepped towards the ball to grab it.
Now here's Johnson. Good ball movement here by Miami. Now here's Ellington. He's covered closely. And the basket by Olynyk.
Yeah, listen, if you're 7 foot and can shoot threes, there's a place for you in today's NBA. Olynyk has that rare combination.
Here's the screen. from outside the arc, and that one's good. Schroeder. Schroeder's got 5 points in the quarter.
It took a long time for him to get that first triple. Let's see now, though, if he can get going.
And Olynyk kicks to Winslow. Out of bounds. It'll go to the Hawks.
Yeah, just not good court awareness there. You cannot afford to be careless. That just leads to bad turnovers.
Hammonds, he's checked in for Miami. Jordan Mickey comes in for Winslow. Then for the Hawks, Luke Babbitt, he's checked in for Taurean Prince. And it's Bembry in for Malcolm Delaney. Now here's Schroeder. Here's Collins. The pass to Bembry. There's the pick. A floater, and that's 2 points on the layup.
That floater is a thing of beauty, effective when it's used the right way.
Johnson kicks to Hammonds. Johnson against Schroeder. Johnson outside. He feeds it to Johnson. Passes it to Hammonds. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. Brent, for the NBA, it's been a very prosperous time over the last couple decades. What do you think has been the key factor or factors in the growth and the popularity of the game?
Kevin, I think the game speaks for itself and always will. The NBA, to me, is the greatest game that we get a chance to watch. Athleticism and poetry in motion. But one of the things at its foundation and core that I've loved is that the guys that are carrying the mantle for the league right now are likable. And there's nothing that beats likability.
And they appreciate, Brent, I think they appreciate the people that were before them very much.
I think they not only appreciate what's gone before them, Kevin, they're in the moment now, and they appreciate what's going on with their careers in their moment.
It's stolen by Johnson. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Winslow's running, and the dunk by Winslow.
Well, if you let Justice Winslow get loose on the fast break, he's going to get loose around the rim.
Schroeder outside. Prince with a screen on Johnson. Back to Bazemore. Takes a three. The shot's good on the assist by Schroeder. Schroeder's got his third assist on the night. Johnson kicks to Johnson. Schroeder against Johnson. Back to Johnson. And here is Ellington. And he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline.
And he has not made one shot in this one. Has to be on his mind every time he's pulling up.
They set the pick. Here's Schroeder. That doesn't go either for Schroeder.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Ellington dishes to Johnson. Back to Ellington. Right side, the pass to Ellington. Johnson kicks to Winslow. Dishes it to Johnson. He tries for three. Here's Whiteside. A strong finish under heavy pressure all over. Whiteside's got 23 points.
Not sure if physically you could put Whiteside's game in a nutshell. A guy who hustles and tracks down hard rebounds and then turns them into easy points for his team.
Johnson with the block. Johnson against Schroeder. Now Johnson. If you ever did decide to go into coaching, Brent, would you also like to be the general manager to ensure you have the players you really want to coach?
Well, I'd also like a new car and a Learjet, Kevin. If I could get those two, I'll try my best. But
I hear you. I know.
I really think that relegating that role to somebody else that you can be on the same page with is the best way to go. It's a fresh set of eyes.
That's the key. I totally agree.
Fresh set of eyes, and they have the time to devote to what your team and your roster is going to need while you make sure you're developing the roster yourself. So I think having a general manager do his job and a coach do his job might be the way that I would prefer to do things, although we've seen other guys have success in both roles.
Oh, nice screen. Really a poor defensive reaction and the obvious result.
Yeah, when you fail to get over the top, more than likely that jumper is going to go down.
Here's Dedmon. Here's Schroeder, and Whiteside sends it back. On the wing, Johnson. He's guarded by Schroeder. Johnson up top. Back to Johnson. That shot, no good. Great D that time from Dennis Schroeder. Now here's Bazemore. Ellington defending. Prince against Winslow. Dedmon dishes to Bazemore. The Hawks need to get off a shot here. Muscala misses. Miami leading by 22. Johnson kicks to Winslow. That's good, and Johnson with the assist.
I just really like how Tyler distributes the basketball, skilled at quickly getting the ball over to the open man.
They set the pick. Prince, the pass to Schroeder. Back to Prince. Now here's Bazemore. He's guarded closely. Miami grabs the miss. Whiteside's got rebound number 15 here tonight. Here's Winslow. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. And Justice Winslow, a player who's good in some areas on offense, too.
Well, if 30% of your offense, and this is for Justice Winslow, is going to come outside of the 16-foot range, he's got to become a lot more effective in that area. It could be about shot selection, but certainly it's about putting in the work over the summer to become a more capable shooter.
2 shots.
That free throw, no good. Well, Greg, Justice Winslow had a year that he'd like to forget. His second season in the NBA. Only played in the 18 games before sitting out the rest of the way after a torn labrum.
And we're just happy to see the young man back out on the floor so that he can continue to develop. Always a fantastic defender. And you forget, still a very young player who can round into a contributor, I believe, on offense.
Over the decades, the way the league has grown, phenomenal, due in no small part to the leadership. Brent, what are some of the key traits you've seen of these two great NBA commissioners?
I think the one thing about both David Stern and Adam Silver that they have done a great job with is that they're approachable. There doesn't seem to be a time, at least in an NBA player's career, where they don't feel like they could either call the office and within maybe a day or two hear from somebody from the league office. But the fact that both David Stern and Adam Silver find their way out to arenas throughout the regular season, come to see every team, that approachability, I think, far and away sets those two gentlemen aside.
There's the pick. Schroeder comes with the double team. Waiters. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Yeah, the defender all over him.
Dion Waiters. 2.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
And he knocks down the first one. And he can't hit the second. Brent, it's amazing how the three-point shot has evolved and how much it's being used. And some teams now almost entirely perimeter-based. That three-point shot is the first thing out of their mouth. Can you see a team winning a championship that way.
I saw teams win championships. That's the Warriors and the Cavs. If you look at what they did from the three-point line and the type of damage they did, Kevin, that absolutely was a huge reason why they were championship contenders. You could even look at teams that are qualifying for the playoffs as usually 6 or 7 teams that are in each conference. Of those 8, Kevin, are proficient three-point shooting teams. Looked a little bit forced. No reason for it either. The defense was not even in the frame.
Here's Prince. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. That one on Olynyk.
I mean, even from over here, you could see that one pretty clearly.
And he makes the first. Dwayne Dedmon's checked in for the Hawks. He hits one and misses one, each at the line. Miami leading by 18. Outside Dragic, and Olynyk kicks to Winslow. Pass to Whiteside. Kicks it to Waiters. 4 on the shot clock. Great open look there. Waiters got 4 points this quarter.
Well, some of Waiters' most efficient numbers come when he's in catch-and-shoot opportunities.
.135 left in the fourth quarter. Here's Schroeder. Rebound by Olynyk. Olynyk's got 4 rebounds in this game.
And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout. Big-time dominance, and this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for the Heat.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And so with this, they'll end up with their second win on the year. The one player that really stands out, of course, in this one, it was a dazzling game for Hassan Whiteside.
And he was remarkable, absolutely destroyed the opposition. Any matchup he had tonight, it felt like he was going to dominate.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
Brent, when we look at some of the classic rivalries between teams, they don't always look as emotionally charged nowadays. Is there a way you think to get that back?
Well, the first thing I do, Kevin, is not try to manufacture anything. The second thing I would avoid is please don't bring up the Lakers-Celtics rivalries in the 80s. And the last thing I would make you conscious of is the fact that, look, players are moving around so often that it's hard to get years and years of the same matchup with the same guys on the roster. Now, look, accept the competition for what it is, and if we get another one where teams are facing one another more often, then let's enjoy it for what it is.
Winslow's shot is off. Guys, we've seen a lot of turnovers in this one.
Yeah, focus, focus, focus. Just make the simple play.
Unable to get that one. Rockets with some nice D. Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. Screen by Olynyk. To the middle. Gets it to go. That one good from Adebayo.
And you can tell they're ready to start celebrating a well-deserved victory here tonight.
Yeah, you can see the fans. They've already started celebrating themselves. A gutty performance.
And so Miami takes this one by a big margin. And the outcome of this one was never in doubt.
And boy, they really put in a supreme effort. It just felt like once they had that lead and it was comfortable, they were not going to relinquish it.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much. Goran, a pretty good performance you put on tonight in front of the fans.
Yeah, great win for us, for our fans. They were amazing. This kind of games is really enjoying to play. And we are hustling on every play, defense and offense. And, you know, I'm really happy that we won that game.
Yeah, I know that's what you thought it would be like when you got here, and it was like that tonight. Congratulations. Back to you, Kevin.
David, thank you as always. And that about wraps it up. So for David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, Brent Barry, and the whole 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for being with us. See you later.